So before I get into it, I just wanted to give the Cleveland Cavaliers a shout out. Sarunas Vujanic. He was the number one overall pick since I didn't record the offseason. 20-year-old, 80 overall, 7'2", 244 center out of Lithuania. And he joined the Cavaliers, and this draft wasn't too deep, so this is the only guy I really wanted to shout out. I did want to also add, if you're new to these are 29 game seasons, single game elimination playoffs, and 8-minute quarters. So just to kind of get that out of the way before we get into it. All right, welcome back everybody to our second season. I'm just going to do a quick overview of some interesting pickups, some trades during the off season, and then feature some guys and just make it really as quick as possible. But first thing I want to do is I have simulated a few games. Golden State and Lakers are terrible, but this game right here, I'm going to give a shout out to the Portland Trailblazers. Fantastic game. At the end of regulation, it was 92-92 in 8-minute quarters. It's crazy. Charlotte did outscore them 16-5 in overtime. But let's take a look at the Trailblazers. They played fantastic. Cam Forte, the leader, 19, 8 and 5, 7 for 15, 3 for 7. Abe Sharp came out of the gates hot. He's been working on his game. 25, 1 and 7, 10 for 17, 2 for 4. He took a lot of shots and was pretty efficient. So then Allen Bailey. He got a strange hair color. 14, 3 and 2, 2 steals, 6 for 7. And then Eddie Fisher, I think it's Eddie, backup point guard, 11, 2 and 1, 5 for 6, 1 for 1. Very efficient. They played fantastic. Abe Sharp and Cam Forte. Then Roderick Evans, 26, 9 and 11, 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. 10 for 18, 6 for 11 from 3. CJ Ballard, our new guy, we'll see him in a second, 22, 5. 8 for 12 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3. Lou Yee, 18, 4 assists. 7 for 11 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. Brad Stewart, 16, 13 and 3. Had a Brad Stewart game, typical Brad Stewart game, 8 for 11, very efficient, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Our new power forward, Sharp, Norm Sharp, 7, 3 and 1, 1 for 2 from 3, 3 for 4. Did his job very well. But yeah, so just shout out to the Trailblazers. They were fantastic in that game. Now let's get into the rosters. And no changes to the Kings. They're the runner-ups in the finals last year to the Hornets. Zach McNeil had a huge jump in his progression. Richard Webster's still there, great defender. And then the man, the myth, the legend, Jerome Cheeks, who dropped 35 points in that finals game and still lost. And they do have a pretty good team coming back, mainly these two, Richard Webster and Jerome Cheeks, and hopefully Zach McNeil can take a step forward. Then we have the Detroit Pistons. Point guard, Jeffrey Barkley's gone. He was the 95 overall point guard. He's gone. So the Pistons still good with Sean Jacobson, but not as strong. Julian Caber on the last year of his deal. We'll see if he stays or he goes after this season, or what they plan to do with him. Maybe they want to trade him. I don't know. Rumor was he was going to go to Boston, but Boston backed out. Maybe had to give up too much young talent. But they are still solid. Still a tough team to beat. Then Chicago signed Leslie Collier. I did not touch this guy, edit him or anything. This is purely 2K. Made a demigod almost. 6'5", 238, 25-year-old shooting guard, 99 overall. Yeah, so he's going to be a beast. And then traded from the Orlando Magic, Andor Smorey. Comes to assist Collier here in Chicago. It'll be a very interesting duo there. We'll see what happens, but I'm very excited to watch these two play together. Smorey, obviously an all-star. Handled his own in the all-star game if you want to go see those highlights. Then we got the Houston Rockets 2 years ago. Not last year, 2 years ago, they were the champions. They lost in the Western Conference Finals last year to the Kings. But they have Sylvester Brooks back, Aaron Newton, Jamal Lloyd, the superstar, Peter Jukic, the defensive anchor. They have a center now, Jeffrey Wagner, Quincy Fleming. They're solid. I mean, they'll be a good team again this year. 17.5 points per game last year for Jamal. Actually, no, that was this year. Did they play a game? Let's see if they play a game. Recent game. No, they didn't, so that was last year. All right, so 17.5 points per game for Jamal Lloyd last year. Jukic would like to see him play more on offense, but I understand he's a defensive guy. Sylvester Brooks kind of came down a little bit last year. He doesn't really do too much, but he's like me, or the Rockets must be like me. When you find a point guard, you want to stick with him. Then we have the New Orleans Pelicans. They're going to be extremely dangerous in a world where the Pelicans aren't irrelevant. They signed Jeffrey Barkley to a massive contract last year, obviously. This was one of the guys I just added into the league for distribution of talent. He was from another league, and he's purely from the game, created by the game. But last year, averaged 19, 2 and 5. And then they have the round 1 pick won 2 years ago, first pick of the 2032 draft. And he won Rookie of the Year. No surprise there. But on my rookie showcase video, he has a spot on there. He averaged 16, 2, or really 3 and 3. And then they have Johnny Drew, Jeffrey Flanders, Bo Chandler, and they stole our guy. They stole Kloppenberg from me. Trying to decide if I want to trade back for him, but I don't know. He's kind of expensive. I think he's on a 3-year, $40-something million contract. I could get him back. I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, so the Pelicans look dangerous. I mean, Kloppenberg just kind of back where he was, coming off the bench and doing his thing. Then we have the Pacers. Brandon Ryan, Javon Weber, Steven Eaton jumps up to an 89. And then he is teamed up with Everett Allen and Jared Chambers. They look pretty good, and I am excited to see what happens with them. Actually, I can't do this without saying Steven Eaton is our reigning three-point contest champion. So that's just a spotlight for him. Then we have Daryl Houston, the second pick from 2 years ago. 19 years old, 6'7" point guard. Then we have Bryce Park, the first pick from 3 years ago. Yes, this will be his third year. Averaged 16 last year, 4 and 3. He's going to be a beast. Ray Barber, I mean, he's only 22 years old. Francis Young, 24 years old. Thought they had a better center. Oh, there he is, Russ Walton. I don't know why he's coming off the bench, but they're my sleeper. I think they're going to be extremely dangerous. I actually think they're better than us this year. But it'll be a good series. Then we have Roland McCall, 89. I love this guy. He came into the game against us and dropped like 40. Excited for him. Gene Posey, the man. Tracy Evans III. I think they did get new coaching this year, so we'll see how that changes up their schemes. But Spurs just being the Spurs, they're going to look really good. Then we have Anderson Cumming for the Suns. They tried to steal all my players. They ended up getting Wade Hardaway. They tried to get Lou Yee, but I wasn't having that. But they did end up getting Wade Hardaway. He's going to come off the bench for him, for Anderson Cunningham. They have a solid team. Whenever you have this guy, Wade Hardaway, on your team, there's a good chance to win. The Cavs, Milos Novak, 89, Ben Keefe, 90, Al Martin Jr., 80. Solid team for the Cavaliers. They'll be tough to beat. Clippers have the same team they basically always have. Jalen Bender, Kelvin Gray. They have had some players develop pretty well. I don't know where he's at. Brooklyn player, but I had my eyes on maybe him. I don't know. But yeah, so Clippers are always they're just kind of there. Grizzlies, some say it's the most overrated team in the league. I say they just need better coaching, better schemes for their players. Thomas Baylor's gotten a lot of heat for not winning enough. But he does have a lot of help. There really is no excuse for them to not win. They have Kenneth Copeland. Anyways, Thomas Baylor, 95. He needs to do more. Jerome Oliver. All these guys just need to do more. They did get new coaching, so we'll see what happens. I have high expectations for them, as I always do. Brooklyn Nets. So this is where it gets interesting. They signed Elliot Day. They needed a center bad. I know that for a fact. 7'3", 241 center. I mean, he's got plenty of experience in the league. He's been in here since 27. So that's a big-time pickup for them. Christopher Potter wanted out of Washington. So Washington made a trade with him. And I forget what's the other guy. We'll see him. But there's another guy that 90 overall that went to Washington, and now he's thriving in Washington as the number one option instead of the number two. But these guys are going to be dangerous together, I'm telling you. Like, this is going to be... I cannot wait to watch them play. Bench isn't too deep, but they're very top-heavy. And at least they do have a solid center and another center coming off the bench that isn't too bad. So we'll see what happens. Philadelphia, Louis Webb, Isaac Wilkes, Karan Reed, absolute beast. Ed Bledsoe, same team they've had last year. High expectations for them. And then obviously us. We signed CJ Ballard. Got him for a bargain at $11 million. He's never played in the league before. And he's 27 years old. So we got him for $11 million on a one-year deal, and he's already averaging 17 in 3 games and 6 assists. Shooting 77 from 3. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This might be a cheat code. Then we obviously have Louis Yee. Took him back from the Suns. Didn't take him back. We signed him over the Suns. But we have him back. Can't let him go. And then the man himself, the former reigning MVP, Roderick Evans, Finals MVP, Roderick Evans, Rod E, and Louis. Anyways, power forward Norm Sharp. Saric is gone, so we added Sharp. Pretty solid 3-point shooter, which is what we need. We need a stretch 4, especially with Brad Stewart on the inside, being a beast. So still have Brad Stewart on his last year, but we most likely will re-sign him back. Taking over for Kloppenberg, we have Austin Newton coming off the bench at point guard. Then we have Earl Hunt still. You know who Earl Hunt is if you're familiar with this. And Eddie Lowry, we've had him before. He's just kind of a come in and shoot the ball guy. Our draft pick in the first round was Seth Garnett. Not very good potential, not very good intangibles, but who knows? We'll see. And then we had in the second round, Roderick Miller. Hasn't played yet. 79 3-point shot, but he has A potential and he has 42 intangibles and 72 hustle. So we'll see. Projects. But yeah, that's our team. Then we have the New York Knicks, which is going to be extremely dangerous. Gilbert Arthur at point guard, Antonio Black, shooting guard. They signed him in the offseason as a free agent. He's going to be so good. Right beside Geraldo Franklin, who's already good. Brooke Davidson, Monty Rivers, and a pretty solid bench. I'm expecting high things from that. I cannot wait to watch them play as well. And then we have the Wizards. Keon Gibson, shooting guard, number 12. This is the guy who they traded for, they traded Christopher Potter for Keon Gibson. Christopher Potter wanted out of Brooklyn, so they got Keon Gibson. And so far, he's thriving. I mean, 93 3-point shot. He's a great player. He just didn't get his shots up last year. He had 13.5 for basically 3 years straight as a second option to Tony Baker. I think it's Tony Baker. Baker. I'll just say his last name, Baker. 19 points per game, 6 assists per game so far. I think they've only played 1 game, so it's a small sample size, but he's the main option, and I think he's happy. So good for him. They don't have a great team, but got to keep an eye on. He might be an all-star this year. We'll see. Toronto is a team I'm extremely high on. If you know my video, Rookie Spotlight, and we actually played the Raptors in the playoffs last year. But Leslie Mitchell's a guy I'm super high on. 20 years old, 86 overall. Coming off the bench for Artie Tyler, who's 21 years old, and he's 88 overall. And then J.P. Gooden, if you watched the playoff game versus us, he went crazy. Leo Connor, and then former Hornet Doyle Brand. They're just loaded. I mean, they're absolutely loaded, and they did it all through the draft. Actually, J.P. Gooden was a signing in free agency, but everybody else is through the draft. So I'm extremely excited about them. Denver Nuggets lost to Baker and Potter for Brooklyn, but they have a solid team. Claude Lloyd's a beast. Endor's a beast. Rudolph's a beast. Coming off the bench, Jaden Crawford at 80 overall. Ndiaye, don't know why. This is one of my favorite players in the league. Maybe because he just torched us. But yeah, they have a really good bench. Excited to see what they do. Clay Whitehead for Oklahoma City. Clark Sims, don't know much about them. I do know this guy's pretty solid. Jin Liu is pretty solid. So yeah, not too much going on with OKC, not too much going on with the Timberwolves. Man, some of these guys, I gotta go in and fix them up a little bit. They do have a 20-year-old center picked in the 11th, with the 11th pick last year. And the draft, I didn't record the offseason because the draft wasn't that great. I also wanted to make some changes to the league and just fine-tune some things. So there wasn't much to watch, but the most entertaining part's the gameplay, though. The Bucks still not great. Corey Conley is coming back. He should have a good year as the main option there, but not too much of a threat. Kind of in a rebuilding phase, and the Hawks have Courtney Perkins. If you watch the All-Star game, you'll see him. They did pick up a center somewhere. Maybe he's in the starting lineup. Is it Mo Hodges? Nope. There's Kafka. Okay, maybe he wasn't that good then. Yeah, the draft wasn't that deep. So, but yeah, so they have Perkins, Cowens, Mills, Patrick Hunt, Mo Hodges. Solid, not crazy. Lakers are terrible. Jonathan Black was on the trade block. They were looking to get. He was not happy there. But apparently the Lakers wanted too much for him for what he was. So he's remaining in a Lakers uniform for the time being. He actually was undrafted, which is crazy. Billy Vaughn, solid players, role player, team full of role players, but. Then we have the Utah Jazz. Thomas Parks, solid pickup at point guard in free agency for the Jazz. Denison Andrade made a huge jump. He was an 80 overall last year, or 82 maybe last year. Marty Bellamy. Hopefully to give Jonathan Magette, he's the former MVP, but lost to Roderick Evans. He was second in voting last year, but he's going to be, hopefully they're going to be a lot better. Because Magette was just kind of running the show. Let me plug in my laptop real quick so I don't die. There we go. All right. So we'll see. And then this guy made a huge jump. 20-year-old, 80 overall, Jeffrey Bowman. He should be really good. I mean, pick 14, 2032 2 years ago. Yeah, he should be solid. I mean, that's a great pickup for the Jazz. And then we got the Portland Trailblazers, who I already talked about at the very beginning of the video. I'm expecting a lot of things out of them now. I'm very excited for them. That was an awesome game. Dallas Mavs, nothing crazy. Basically the same lineup. Rudy York is their main guy. Boston Celtics, rumor was Julian Caver was going to come here, but they were going to have to give up too many pieces, so they just remained the same, basically had the same team. Dante Rudolph is a dog, though, don't get me wrong. Cedric Flemings is a dog, don't get me wrong. These three guys was the only reason that we almost lost in the first round. We won by 1 point, and those guys torched us. So they're a lot better than they look. Orlando Magic don't really have too much going on. They do have our old six-man, Jules Braun, possibly someone we could look into getting back. He was thriving in Charlotte. Had his second best season in Charlotte. But anyways, Golden State, not very good. Anderson Connolly, Vujanis, there's not a lot of star power. They have good players, they're just not very athletic, I guess you could say. But yeah, so that'll do it for the overview of the teams. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to touch up on. Yeah, that'll do it. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out the next videos that come out. We'll have some gameplay, and as you can see here, we play the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have a superstar lineup, so it'll be very interesting. But anyways, thanks for watching.